To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
And happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome to Kingdom Report Live from the Warner Brothers Studio Media District here in beautiful Burbank. I'm Wade Heath. Really glad you could join us on a long holiday weekend, and thank you for deciding to spend a little bit of your time with us. Who's us exactly? Well, from AttractionFaction.net, we have the wonderful Katrina Manzone.
Hi, everybody.
The splendid Tyler Crouch.
Ooh,
hey, everyone.
splendid.
Ooh, splendiferous. Even.
You didn't even know it was coming, did you?
I didn't. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
When was the last time somebody called you splendid?
Oh, man. It's been a very long time.
Yeah?
It's been a very long time.
Maybe
I needed
childhood?
that. I needed that. Wow. I think we need a couch in here, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get therapeutic. And of course, the man that makes our Thanksgiving dreams come true, producer Curt Carlson. Curt,
How you doing, Wade?
I feel like if there's anything that I should feel, it should be grateful for you being here and
I thank
for
you.
bringing us Thanksgiving magic.
Oh, well, you know, you always say such nice words to me every week. I don't know how to, repay that kindness to you.
Is it because in your life, people are so cruel?
I mean, that could be one of them. Maybe I just, wasn't treated well enough.
I see.
In this day and age. Luckily, I have this lovely show to come to.
You
every week.
do.
Yes.
I know that you embody a lot of companionship in Groot there, baby Groots.
Yes, I
down
have
the
Baby
shoulder.
Groot back today. I do need to get him a hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
know.
where is
Yep.
the Santa cap?
Well, I'm going this Monday.
Okay.
Hey.
Next week, you guys.
Yes.
Did you do anything fun for Thanksgiving, Curt?
Family and Black Friday shopping. 5 o'clock on Thursday.
Did you get any great deals?
I got a KitchenAid mixer.
Oh, nice.
So I'm ready for that. But don't
Nice.
tell my wife that because that was kind of her Christmas gift.
I hope she's
Oh.
not listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, boy.
I mean,
Uh-oh.
she's at work right now, so if she is listening, then she needs to get back to work.
Oh, girl, you in trouble.
She does. My gosh. Anybody else have a fun Thanksgiving? Anything unusual?
We went to Universal, had
Yeah.
fun, splashed in
Oh.
the rain,
Yeah.
and then we get to Universal and it wasn't raining anymore. So
I was kind of
Very
hoping
fortunate.
it would be raining. I like the rain, so I was kind of like, oh, nice little rainy day over there. And then,
Kills off those crowds.
it was fun.
Yeah.
Did some
Yeah.
Black Friday shopping on Thanksgiving. Went to DSW, got some rain boots after the rain,
Well,
and there's no more rain.
prepared for the next round.
Yeah, it'll be back.
You can say now you're just really prepared.
Got a killer deal though, 50% off.
Wow.
Dang.
Totally
That was
worth
it. That's the only thing I bought.
I bought nothing.
And that's it.
We were
going
going
to
to go to Best Buy, and then
Oh.
Best Buy was like
Oh, my
swamped, and we were like,
goodness.
never mind.
Must have been a great deal.
JK.
I guess so.
That's I spent many years working in retail security as a youngster,
Oh, man.
and I always said if I don't have to do it, if I'm not being paid to be there, I will never do it again. And I have not. I watched the chaos from the safety of my home.
Yeah.
There you go.
I didn't hear any news stories. I was telling Tyler about some crazy Black Friday fights and stuff, so I'm really happy with everybody this year.
We're getting too soft as a country.
I think so.
Black Friday used to be the purge.
It really
no
was.
longer.
Yeah.
And that scares me a little bit. Need to kick it up a notch, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, this isn't the only team that's here with us. In fact, there's somebody else live out at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, and the Magic Kingdom. It's Gared on the go time. Gared.
What is going on? WKTC, that's your nickname. That's your nickname now. Because you got Wade, Katrina, Tyler, and Curt. WKTC, that's it. But how's it going, guys? I am here in the always whimsical and very fun-filled Storybook Circus. But what's more important than that is what's going on behind me, which to the normal eye looks like construction, but to us, it is magical construction, if you know the difference.
Ooh.
What's happening? What do you mean construction?
Well,
Magical.
if you look ever so slightly around, you're going to see some tracks, you're going to see some stuff going on there, and that is actually the show building for the Tron Lightcycle Run attraction coming to Magic Kingdom somewhere in the next 2 years. It's an almost exact copy of the one they have out at Shanghai Disneyland, but this one is our version out here, and I simply, man, oh man, am I excited. And this past week, they just celebrated a milestone, and that is they installed their final piece of track onto it. So now the entire ride track is on there. They are still doing the launch system, but the actual show ride, or the part of the track that you go on, is fully installed, which is truly amazing.
That is quite a milestone. How great. Yeah, I know that that's coming along at sort of a breakneck pace, and it's nice to see that this major, huge expansion coming for Magic Kingdom, that coaster I know is going to be a lot of added capacity to what otherwise might be a park that needs so much capacity. So very nice to hear that, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I know that the overall structure itself, I mean, taking place there on the far end of Tomorrowland, I mean, you're standing in like the Storybook Circus Dumbo area, right?
Yeah. I'm right next to where the Barnstormer lot queue is, and pretty much if you were to continue along this path, that's where you would run into Tomorrowland. So they've still got a lot to go with the walkway because, as you know, they had to reorganize the entire Magic Kingdom railroad system to accommodate this new attraction. So there's still a lot to go, but it's a massive undertaking. And I learned that it's over 3,000 feet of ride track. So if you know math, that's almost half a mile. That's over half a mile of ride track, and it's made of about 120 pieces. So it's truly an undertaking. So I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, no, I am too. I'm looking forward to seeing a whole new coaster in Tomorrowland, and definitely one that is so celebrated like Tron Lightcycle. I know that anybody who's ever been to the Asian parks definitely celebrate it and call it, one of the greatest, I guess, roller coasters we've ever built in terms of, Disney magic. So, Gared, anything else going on inside Walt Disney World we should be aware of?
Oh, there's always stuff going on inside Walt Disney World that you should be aware of. One thing I want to talk about is here in Magic Kingdom. Last week we talked about Project Stardust out at Magic Kingdom, which you are thankful for. But over in Tomorrowland here, they are slowly doing a beautification project on Tomorrowland, because Tomorrowland here, the last time it really got touched was back in, I believe, 94, 95. But since then, it hasn't gotten a whole lot of love. So if anyone has been to the parks within the past year, you know that the Tomorrowland sign has been changed. It's no longer the big ball of energy and mechanics. It's now just a simple sign that sort of reflects, sort of contemporary art. So that's coming along. They've been changing some of the color schemes and been removing some of the bulky parts that look very dated. So hopefully within the next few months to a year, we'll see a whole new Tomorrowland that has a little bit more futuristic look rather than a dated feel to it. So that's what's going on in Magic Kingdom Park. Going on over in, this coming Thursday, over in Disney's Hollywood Studios, the Rise of the Resistance attraction, which is the final piece of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge land, is finally going to open up, and I'm going to be there opening day, and I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm not excited because 5-hour lines don't really get me excited.
Yeah. No.
May the force be with you.
Thank you. It is the way.
In every possible way. And, you did a pretty amazing vlog for us this past week at the Kingdom Report on YouTube, where you went and experienced Hollywood Studios sort of holidays at night. You saw a lot of really cool things there. What's your one takeaway from Hollywood Studios holiday nights now that the Osborne Festival of Spectacle of Dancing Lights is no longer there? I mean, that's what people remember it for. What would you say is your one key takeaway from that experience?
Sadness. No, I'm kidding. I truly love the Osborne Dancing Lights. I am privileged enough to have saved a couple of clips of me recording it so I can have that in my memory. But for me, I really like the projection mapping that they do on the Tower of Terror and what they do down Sunset Boulevard. It's simple, but at the same time, it is unique because no one would ever think, hey, we're going to do projection mapping on an attraction and have that attraction still be running. So people are still going up and down while they're putting lights on it. So I really like it. It's a very busy street. You see people eating, drinking, celebrating, and just walking around and just watching it. So it's a very cool spectacular to have. It truly is the busiest part of the park once nighttime does come. In the day, you've still got like the Chinese theater area going on because you have the Star Wars stuff. But at night, Tower of Terror and Sunset Boulevard still the show for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to you joining us here in just a little bit for a few more of our segments, but you have a great time there at Magic Kingdom. Tell us, what are the crowds like? I mean, it's kind of Thanksgiving weekend. It's a big deal. So what are you seeing in terms of crowds?
Well, when Dumbo is an hour long, that's what you're seeing here.
Wow.
Barnstormer looks to be about 45 minutes long, but
Yeah, show the Barnstormer line real quick.
yeah, the Barnstormer
Look at
line, you
this.
got all this, wave, people, wave. Hi.
That's a long
wave,
line
sir?
for Barnstormer.
No. Okay, they're gonna send me a cease and desist letter.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, the line's moving steadily, but the lines here aren't terrible. I'd say it's a typical, like maybe a typical summer day. It's not quite holiday feel yet, but it's definitely busy. Like you've got Mine Train at 120 minutes. You've got Space Mountain at 95. You've got Pirates at around 50, 45 minutes. So it's not terrible, but seeing Barnstormer this long is unique. And yeah, you don't see that often. Usually it's just like a 20-minute wait, if that. So it's something.
Yeah, especially having Dumbo being such a long wait. For anybody that's never been to Magic Kingdom, they have two Dumbos, sort of dueling Dumbos, if you will. So two entirely separate attractions that sort of go at each other in terms of motion. But it's having, the added capacity of one additional attraction on top of the other. And yet the line is still that long of a wait. So, well, Gared, I appreciate you taking the time out of your Magic Kingdom day to chat with us. Look forward to you coming back a little bit later on.
Thank you. I'll see you later. This has been Gared on the Go.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that.
Sign off. Wow.
And there's plenty more Kingdom Report Live straight ahead. You stick with us.
Everyone that I spend time with. Pascal, one of my oldest friends, and Eugene. Oh, and my mom and dad too. I live at the castle now with my mother and father, and I love spending time with them.
Wonderful.
And I'm thankful for old traditions and new, and meeting new friends as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All of the biggest stories of the week, it is Trending Countdown time. And our Trending Countdown stories take us first on over to Disneyland Park in Anaheim, California, and Katrina with the news.
Yes. Okay. So big news finally happened. Snow White's Scary Adventure is getting an upgrade. So in 2020, the opening day attraction is going to be celebrating 65 years.
Unreal.
Crazy at Disneyland, and the last time it was upgraded was in 1983 with brand new technology, brand new facade, and along with a new name. So what?
Sorry, that's not 100% true, but
I don't know. That's what it said on the Disney blog.
well, they're wrong. But
Ooh.
Correct them. What's different?
I don't know what year they did it, but they added projections 5-6 years ago with the rain.
That's
The rain
right.
is in the final scene, and then
Oh,
That was
yeah.
like
The,
the 60th,
60th,
right?
I think it was maybe the 60th. I think you're right.
Wonder why they wouldn't highlight that.
That's
I don't know.
true.
Yeah,
I
and they
do
also
remember that.
also added projections in the mirror room with the Queen. So anyway, yeah.
Well,
Oh.
point of
Well-
order. We
Sorry,
stand
yeah, I
corrected.
know.
Well,
Bringing up man of the house again for the
Thank you
second
for
time
that.
in a row. right?
Wow.
Every
Oh my
time, that's
God.
what I
It's
think
a
of
great
every time I
movie.
hear point of order. Anyway, go ahead.
okay.
Great
So, along with those added features. So anyway, this is like the only Princess Ride attraction at the Disneyland Park, and it's going to have updates. Oh, what do they say? With new magic inside and out, which I'm really excited about. Walt Disney Imagineering is reimagining how the classic tale of Snow White's lives happily ever after. And in addition to experiencing familiar elements of the attraction you know and love, you'll discover enhanced story details and all new scenes. A new vignette will show Snow White in a beautiful forest setting, waking up from her deep sleep. And then the ride will conclude with Snow White reuniting with her animal friends, and a shimmering castle is seen in a distance, which seems really interesting. So I'm curious if they're going to like get rid of the scream of the evil queen, like
The
the
abrupt ending.
Yeah. I think they are. I mean, it's. I think the
funny.
last scene is going to be, Snow White waking up, like you just said. So it seems like they have. Maybe they're going to get rid of that. When you leave that final scene, there's kind of on the left hand side there's that wall that has kind of the wrap up of like, and they lived happily ever after. Maybe they'll just get rid of that wall and they'll put another scene there or something. I don't know.
It
But
would be nice to have a little bit more closure than just a random scream
true.
and like lightning striking, and you wonder what the hell's going on.
we all need
happened?
closure.
Yeah.
more often than not, you get off that ride and you hear people going, "What just happened?" Like,
It is really true.
Yeah.
I guess that like might be with Snow White going with her friends, animal friends, though. That ending, I don't
What?
know.
What
That
do you-
ending,
sorry.
that's like the thing that they're gonna redo. Is they're probably gonna add her with like the animal friends instead of being like carried off with Prince Charming.
oh, you think so? I don't know. Could be.
Anyway,
I thought you said that it was going to be a her waking up, but anyway.
Well, it'd be nice to have
I-
some new magic added
I
regardless.
hope.
but, yeah,
And then
maybe a little more
Imagineers
closure.
are implementing state-of-the-art audio-visual technology throughout the attraction, including new music,
Oh.
which
Oh,
is interesting.
interesting. Yeah, that's
LED
weird.
black lighting, laser projections. We all love laser
I
projections.
do love me some lasers.
And a new animation system. So I'm curious to see if they're going to be adding in like the laser projections like they're doing at Seven Doors Mine Train.
Sure.
And then the exterior of the attraction will be completely refreshed with the new fairy tale inspired details to complement the nearby charming Sleeping Beauty castle. So they're going to just pretty much change the colors to make it more pink and more blue, probably. I don't know. And then, so hurry up and ride the old Snow White's Scary Adventure. You can do it until January 6th, 2020.
Wow, wrapping it up
Isn't that
fast.
crazy?
Interesting. Yeah, a real
New Year.
classic now getting the upgrades.
Yeah.
I'm
I've-
like excited but scared at the same time.
Well, I've loved what they've done with all the rest of the Fantasyland rides. Like Alice in Wonderland got an upgrade, Peter Pan got an upgrade, and so I think Snow White is prime for one.
time.
She's ready. She's ready to go.
That's
So
true.
I'm excited for it.
Who's Mr. Toad next?
Oh,
I don't know. I would actually assume that Pinocchio would be next, but I have no.
Can you imagine like some
Basis for
crazy
that.
cool thing with Monstro like leaping out?
I would love
I don't
that.
know.
Yeah,
That'd be so
that'd be
spooky.
awesome.
Like a projection that could do something like that.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
more intense, perhaps.
Some
in a
kind of
dark
like
room.
a shark from Back to the Future coming down and like getting you.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. I think that Pinocchio is the newest one, though, so maybe it wouldn't happen with Pinocchio. Because thinking about it, it does kind of have some more, some crazy practical effects compared to the other dark rides. Like the blue fairy just appearing out of nowhere and the projected seagulls across the sky. Anyway, I think I am really excited for this upgrade, and I don't see a downside, honestly. I'm
excited for the
super
upgrade.
stoked.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
And projection mapping entirely, where you think about what we've been able to see, like what goes on castles now and stuff like that. Just knowing that technology exists, just knowing that lasers and projections in general have come so far. I'm more excited about what's going to happen with Mr. Toad when and if they get to it for the scene where you get sent to hell.
Yeah,
Imagine
really.
what can happen with some good projection effects in hell.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Imagine.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
now
ready.
I'm all excited. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be so cool. Oh my god. Okay. So, and then some really cool new stuff is happening. The Disneyland After Dark events are coming back again next year.
Such a hit.
So there's gonna be 4 events that they announced in the winter and spring 2020. That's what they said. So let's go through the list, shall we?
Let's.
We shall.
Okay, let's go back to the 80s, and they're going to be celebrating 80s night at Disneyland Park on January 29th.
So retro.
It's so cool. They did 90s last year. Really cool. We went.
We got a fanny pack.
We did get a
Very 90s.
bright colored
Yeah.
fanny pack,
It
mind
was.
you.
It's pretty amazing, honestly.
Oh.
It was awesome. So I wonder what they're going to do for the 80s night. They haven't said anything yet, but they're gonna stroll down to memory lane and then dust off those leg warmers, shoulder pads, and other vintage looks from the 80s. They're gonna have a flashback to Videopolis. Take over from Fantasyland Theater with a live VJ, music videos and dancers boogieing to the decade's hottest hits. Awesome After Dark fireworks to the max.
Oh.
Fireworks show, high energy musical entertainment, and more. Let's see. Throwback style encounters with Disney friends of yesteryear. So I wonder what they're gonna like shoot out there. Immersive photo opportunities, which they always have at these kind of events.
Sure.
And decade inspired decor, food, beverages, and merchandise. And people who are going to this event get into Disneyland at 6 p.m. Mind you, all these events, parking is not included. Just gonna throw that
Extra
out there.
$25 thrown on there.
Boom.
Yeah.
And then the next event is going to be Sweethearts Night, which we did together last year too. It was really cute.
Gonna do it again?
I don't know.
We might skip Sweetheart Night.
Yeah, it was.
Only need to be sweethearts once. It's fine.
There was
cool.
like nothing really happening there. It was like lines for characters. It was like an hour, 2 hour long lines for characters, and it was really long.
Yeah, that seems like one of those events where it would just be about characters.
Yeah.
And what else are you really going to do?
Yeah.
It pretty much, yeah. It was bad. I mean, it was good, but I mean, it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't for us, the Sweethearts Night one. So they're doing 2 nights this year, February 12th and February 13th at Disneyland Park, and then they're going to have some love song themed dance parties throughout the park, as well as the glitzy Royal Ball, encounters with darling Disney couples, including Cinderella and Prince Charming, Aladdin and Jasmine, Mickey and Minnie, of course, romantic photo opportunities featuring sweet scenes from iconic Disney films, probably like Lady and the Tramp, something like that, lovely decor, food, beverages, and merchandise offerings, and then again, whoever is going to this gets to get in Disneyland at 6 p.m., which is nice. Okay, now they're going to have 2 events going to Disney California Adventure Park this year. So the first one's Pixar Night on March 5th. It's going to be exciting. And then, so it says, spend an exciting night celebrating some of the world's best love stories and characters from Pixar Animation Studios. And they're actually trying to have people dress up in Pixar-inspired clothes for this event. And they're going to have interactive dance parties themed to favorite Pixar stories, including the retro cool Incredibles family and Scare-tastic gang from the Monsters and Monsters, Inc. Encounters with crowd-pleasing Pixar pals, including Russell and Carl from Up, Joy and Sadness from Inside Out, playful fun photo opportunities, as usual, whimsical decor, food, beverages, and merchandise offerings, and guests who are going to this event get inside Disney California Adventure Park at 5 p.m.
Oh,
wow.
Earlier.
So I'm assuming that this event is going to be ending at 11.
Yeah, end an hour earlier. You don't necessarily get an extra
Yeah.
hour.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get that clear. And then Villains Night is happening on April 30th in Disney California Adventure
This,
Park.
I predict, will be the busiest
Yeah.
one.
I'm
excited.
exciting. I hope that they're gonna do something like they did for the Halloween party. That would be really neat.
In what way?
I know, right? I have to explain. So the Grizzly Peak. I hope that they do some kind of cool encounters, like how they had
That's a lot to hope for.
Okay, I don't know. I was really hoping that they probably would.
Yeah.
And
That'd be
then-
awesome. I
or at
agree.
least have the live characters, kind of have that picture opportunity where the live characters talking to you and stuff, like they had at the Trick or Treat trails. That would be really, really neat.
Sure.
Fingers crossed. Anyway, so it says, unleash your inner villain at the deliciously sinister soiree, bursting with Disney's most mischievous misfits. So the Villains Cabaret with a cast of outlaws singing and dancing their way through a riffraff lovin' review. Okay. I know that was a tongue twister for
Wow.
me. Sorry.
Yeah. Powerful.
And then they're going to have a DJ hosting dance parties throughout the park, encounters with some of the Disney's famous villains, and photo opportunities with themed villain layers and thrones. Interesting. And dastardly decor, food, beverages, and merchandise offerings. And then for this, attendees get to start coming in at 6 p.m. So I'm interested to see why there's like an hour difference. Anywho, so December 3rd is the day for annual pass holders to get these tickets. And then December 4th is these tickets are on sale for the general public.
Very cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
These all tend to fill up the time of year where usually aren't a whole lot of people, right? Less attended times of year is when they start to do these parties, and that they are bringing so many of these uniquely themed parties in tells me that, okay, there might be a real sign of, I won't say desperation, but there's...
You could say it.
Yeah, I mean, going into the new year, it sounds like there isn't a whole lot of hope for anything else stimulating locals to be coming in other than these private parties that have unique themes and, let's be honest, are just like the most Instagrammable things possible.
Oh, yeah.
So it drives the millennials crazy and on into the parks, and they sell these things out typically.
I
they
mean,
do
you
very well.
honestly don't see any children at these events.
Yeah.
Like the Sweetheart event we went to, we like realized it was so much easier to walk around, and we didn't really understand why. And then we had to like step back for a second, and we're like, there's no strollers. Like all the stroller parking was empty. There might be like one or two. And then a lot of like the 90s night, there was like parents having their night, like a little date night together to go to these events.
Wow.
So which is it's completely different than like the Halloween like parties,
Sure.
which is like, you
Where
know,
you bring your
for
kids.
children,
Yeah.
like dress them up and stuff. And these are kind of like for millennials and like for adults to kind of like go back in time and kind of like enjoy it yourself.
All those hideous, childless millennials that just ruin the whole park
That want
experience.
pretzels
Yeah,
and
right.
How dare they?
Well, very good. So, I mean, thrilling sounds of parties to come. Very cool. Tyler, what's next up on the docket when it comes to news?
So over at the MCO there, the Orlando International Airport, they have opened their brand new Magic of Disney store. They just gave it a new name. They redid the whole entire place, and it looks beautiful. It's on the east side of the airport. If you need any last minute, magic bands, or if you forgot a gift for somebody, it's the perfect place to go. And they also right now have some Galaxy's Edge photo opportunities. So if you're like, oh, wow, we didn't get enough pictures of Galaxy's Edge, you can take some at fake Galaxy's Edge.
Have you guys ever stopped at the Magic of Disney store at the airport?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely have.
I think once.
I mean, I like stopping. The airport is, you're like a zooed animal in the airport. You got nothing to do, so it's like, well, let's walk around and just look at whatever's here. And so that's one of my favorite things to do is walk around, see what's at the airport, and it's always the Disney store.
Get your last minute gifts for people that you forgot to buy gifts for.
It's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, very cool. Glad
I think
to
they
have
have two stores at the
I think they do.
airport now. So there you go. It's a lot of fun. I don't
Come
know.
on, Universal, step it up.
Yeah,
I think
really.
this is the second one reopening, so very cool. Glad
Yeah.
to have it back.
And then, along with that bit of news, also returning this coming year to Epcot is the International Festival of the Arts.
Woo!
Yes. So that's going to be happening January 17th through February 24th. The 12 food studio. I love how they call them food studios.
Right.
They're not
not
booths.
booths.
They're food
Artists work in
studios.
studios.
Yeah.
That's why.
Plus, they're food and beverage locations, and they will be there to hand out and feed hungry guests. Along with that, a new interactive mural is going to be available for anybody that doesn't know. They give you a color. You go to your little dot, and you put your color on your dot, and everybody works together to make this massive mural. It's actually pretty cool. As the course of the day goes on, it becomes more and more colorful. They're going to have different workshops where you can learn how to do your own art stuff. Some artful photo ops. We did one last year that was like it was like the book of Peter Pan. I was the
He was
mermaid,
pretty
and she was
mermaid.
I was a beautiful
Oh.
mermaid, and she was a
I was like, hey, what
gruff pirate with a beard.
Scandalous.
And
up? We did Columbus too.
yeah, we did a couple of those. And then on top of those, they have the art galleries and the living performance art, like the living statues and Art Defying Gravity, which I don't remember Art Defying Gravity. So that sounds really cool. I'm kind of curious to see what that is. Along with all that stuff, they're going to have Le Cellier brunch on Saturday and Sunday, which sounds amazing because Le Cellier is amazing. So you can't go wrong doing that. I'm sure you got to make a reservation for that. Call up the reservation line. And then there's also going to be a Figment scavenger hunt.
Ooh.
So what are they calling it? Figment's Brush with the Masters. So he's hiding in like all these famous paintings like Mona Lisa and things like that, and you got to go and find him throughout all the different countries. It sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
One little spark.
One little spark. And then topping everything off for this for the Festival of the Arts is, of course, the Disney on Broadway concert series is returning to the America Gardens Theater. There's going to be 3 performances daily, headlined by Broadway stars who reprise their favorite songs and performances.
Come on, Idina Menzel.
She's not scheduled yet.
Oh, get her in there.
So let me tell you, I've got a list of dates here. On the 17th, 20th, 21st, 24th, and 25th, Kissy Simmons and Alton Fitzgerald White will be performing. On the 18th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, and 25th, Heidi Blickenstaff will be performing, and Gavin Lee.
The Heidi Blickenstaff?
Yeah, I know. Apparently, she's from The Little Mermaid and Freaky Friday. Yeah, so I mean, if that gets you excited, then be excited. On the 25th, there's a special performance featuring Simmons, White, Blickenstaff, and Lee. Okay, so they're all working together on that
Get her
one,
again?
I guess. Yeah, I know.
Heidi
I know.
Blickenstaff?
It's like a
I know.
of life here.
On the 26th, the 28th, the 29th, and then February 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 9th, Cara Lindsay from Newsies and Kevin Massey from Tarzan will be singing and performing. Then we're in February now. How do you say February? February?
Feb.
Okay,
Feb.
there you go.
Can't go wrong.
Simple.
On the 10th, 12th, 13th, 18th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, Ashley Brown from Mary Poppins and Beauty and the Beast and Josh Strickland from Tarzan will be there.
Wow.
And then additional performances will still be announced. The best
streak.
way you can walk up and see these performances, and you just have to wait in line. But the best way to make sure that you get to see them for sure is to do a Disney on Broadway dining package, which guarantees seating at the dining or at the experience. And then you get to choose. I'm not exactly sure what restaurants are available, but you eat at one of the restaurants around Epcot, and then you have your little show that you get to go to at the end. So
And
It's a win-win.
can we just stop here? Speaking of Mary Poppins, can we just admire this sweatshirt here? Oh my goodness! Look at what we have here.
practically perfect.
Oh,
Every way.
a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Christmas. I mean, there is nothing like this sweater that I've ever seen in my life. So we just had to admire it for a moment.
Thank you.
there.
I purposely
sure.
wore it just for that.
So good.
Yeah, so I mean that's that for the Festival of the Arts.
I think we need more Heidi Blickenstaff because, again, not necessarily
She didn't
sure
have
where
enough
she comes from
Blickenstaff.
or what she does other than Freaky Friday. And, I'm sure she's very talented, but perhaps she should be the finale.
I don't know. That's my thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like I'm gonna be straight up honest. I don't care.
Wow.
But I can see how people would get excited for these things. Like I don't live in an area where Broadway shows are the norm. Like
Sure.
we don't necessarily go out to live performances all the time, and I'm not steep in this world at all.
Right.
But I could see people being like, "Oh my goodness, Heidi Blickenstaff! Wow!" So I get it,
Yeah.
and it's exciting, and it's cool that if you have a star that you like to see perform, that you get to see them perform in a different way. And I think
no
that's
doubt
really
there
neat.
is that demographic,
Yeah.
which is why this is done, and we're not poo-pooing on anybody that appreciates good theater or musicals. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool to listen to. It kind of creates like more of a lively, atmosphere, I guess,
Yeah.
when you hear all this music kind of going around while you're walking around Epcot and eating and
You
stuff.
bet.
And
Yeah.
then it's cool to see it at night too, when like the park closes and you're kind of like lingering while like security's shooing you out to see them practice. I think it's really neat, and it's like it shows them how dedicated they
Best
all
part
are.
of
Yeah.
the experience.
Oh my god, yeah. It's the
You make
best
a good
part.
point. Like Epcot is perfect for like no matter where you are in the World Showcase, you can like hear a little inclination of whatever performance is going on across the water, and that kind of makes it more exciting.
Yeah.
And just I may not care about these performers that much, but just having them there does bring life to the
yeah.
area, and that's what you need. You want life.
And they have great pipes too, so I always like hearing some really good music.
What do they smoke in there?
Oh, vocal pipes. Got
Oh,
it.
sorry,
Okay,
gotcha.
yeah. No, I don't know what you were referring to.
Oh,
Like,
boys, how do I know?
family show. Please. Wow. Well, wrap us up. What's that big final news story?
So the big final news story is that one of Disney's most ambitious attractions ever, Rise of the Resistance, is opening December 5th.
Yup.
But here's the rub, guys. Here's the rub.
Here's the rub.
It will not be available for extra morning or extra magic hours in the beginning here. So that's really the main story.
Well, of course not, Tyler. It's going to be the most in-demand attraction Disney's ever opened. Why would they have extra magic hours?
Because they did it for the opening.
How dare you?
So apparently, this is all kind of hearsay. Apparently, they've been struggling a little bit keeping the attraction running at the times that is going to be expected when it's open to the public. So they, of course, need some extra maintenance time, need some extra time during the morning, night, whenever they can get it, honestly. And so that has led to apparently, and it's really not a long wait, but apparently it's not going to be open for extra magic hours until December 8th. So
apparently
that's only 3. Yeah, I know.
3 days,
I can say apparently a couple more times, but that's only 3 days afterwards.
Right.
And I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to even be I don't know, upset about is the right word, but it seems like a weird thing to even be concerned about because 3 days is not that big of a deal.
Sure.
And we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We have to see what is going to happen when this ride opens. We have no idea, especially us 3 or 4 people. Sorry, Curt, you're right over there.
Gared's a part of this team too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Gared can hear me. Anyway.
He's going to be there opening day. He's fine.
But now I don't even remember what I was saying.
Well, it makes me wonder what's going to...
Yeah,
will this matter to the land? Will this change
Exactly.
everything? Will this finally be what Disney is banking on as the saving grace for this billion-dollar investment? Will it change things?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then what?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. You were talking about how these Disneyland After Dark things and how they're trying to do that to run up attendance and things. And they thought that Star Wars was their golden ticket. And it wasn't. Yeah. And they have admitted it at this point.
It's going to be in the next Imagineering story, probably.
Yeah, really. I mean, I would love to see the Imagineering story on the Star Wars, man. I really would. And I would love to see Chapek get thrown under that bus. Anyway.
Oh, my. Whoa. Whoa.
Sorry. It's a figurative bus. It's not a real bus. Wow. Anyway,
the fire in you. Well, I mean, I'll definitely say that when it comes down to it, if this doesn't work, because this is what, remember, Bob Iger and all the executives on that fourth quarter earnings call, they said this is what they're waiting on. They placed all their chips on this and said, this is why attendance hasn't shown up. This is why there isn't a huge rush to this land. It's because of this attraction not opening with everything else. So that's the last excuse.
I disagree with them on what that being the case, but I'm not. That's a whole nother subject. Unless you want to talk about it more.
I mean, heaven knows what's going to happen if this doesn't fix things. Right? If this doesn't become what it is that they expect it to be, then what?
I think it'll be one of the coolest rides ever.
Sure.
Do I think it's going to fix Galaxy's Edge? That's not the problem with Galaxy's Edge. I don't think that's its problem. I think it feels empty is its problem. Mm-hmm. That's just me. And I'm not talking about empty in that like, oh, we only have one ride. I'm saying it feels empty in that like we're supposed to be in a living, breathing city, and I don't feel like I'm in a living, breathing city. So they're failing on the front of the main goal, so that's, I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole.
We will after it opens, because I've taken the position that we're not going to grade things, we're not going to rate things until the whole land is open, and we can get that full perspective, right? Because that's important. So the way it's supposed to be in the finished product, that's what we're going to take a look at. But certainly no extra magic hours to start things off. Might be a bit of a hassle if you're a resort guest, but that wraps up the news for this week. It is a great pleasure to have you with us, and you should stick around because there's plenty more. Kingdom Report Live, straight ahead.
Do you know everything the ghost host is going to say before he says it? Are you ready to thank the Venetians each time you board Spaceship Earth? Can you recite Walt's opening day dedication speech? Then join the Kingdom team today, the influential legacy fan community featuring exclusive merchandise that will alert all who've come to this happy place that you are more than just another guest. You are a trusted theme park fan. Don't miss out. Join the Kingdom team right now by visiting the homepage at kingdomreportlive.com. That's kingdomreportlive.com. And now, back to the magic.
Disney List Time is here, and today we are talking to Katrina about the 3 favorite Disneyland Resort holiday experiences she has. So why don't we switch it on over to her, Katrina? What are your 3 top holiday experiences at Disneyland Resort?
Tell me.
I know this took me a while to kind of like condense because I love everything about the Disneyland Resort when they decorate it for the holidays. So I found 3 in one honorable mention. So the first off, love it to death. Small World Holiday.
Oh, nothing
Can't
like
live without it. Every year I enjoy it. The exterior at night is amazing. You have to see it. They light it all up, and then there's projections that they do. I want to say like every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and they have projections going on, so definitely stick around. So even while you're waiting in line to get on the ride, you can like enjoy the exterior and have this like cool projection show of like elves and stuff helping out. And then I do want to say like a tidbit to enjoy. If you've never seen Small World's Holiday, the exterior, or if you have seen it but you want it from a different perspective, I always say take the monorail from downtown Disney and then go to Disneyland that way, because when you make your way around the bend, it's so bright and spectacular.
That's great advice.
It just really gets you in the holiday spirit.
Absolutely.
And it always gets me teary even when I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like, oh, this is so amazing. Anyway, so
sit on the side with the loading doors.
Yes, sit on the side with the loading doors. As soon as you hit around that bend, just don't go on your phone. Just put your phone down and just
Look out the
admire
window.
it. Yeah, just look out the window. Then even the interior, I love Small World Holiday. It's just my favorite scene is in England, where the tree is like this beautiful tree with all these candles, and then you have Alice over there, and then you have Cinderella on the other side. It's just spectacular. And then at the end, everything is just, the end scene is all white, and you have this like beautiful snowman, and it's just all the world's coming together and enjoying the holidays. It's just so beautiful.
Joy to the world, you could say.
Joy to the world.
Joy to the world.
Don't
World after all.
And don't forget about the new smells this year.
Oh yeah, and then there's new smells
Yeah.
all throughout, which is, I think, it definitely, when you're like admiring the scene and you kind of smell something, it's not like Stinky being like, Tyler, what did you just do? You know,
Smell the world.
It's you smell
Smell the world.
the
Smell the world.
small worlds.
Yeah.
After all, anyway,
What's your favorite world scent?
I want to say like maybe like the cinnamon in Mexico.
Oh, it comes from Mexico. Who
Yeah.
knew? Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like the
good,
spicy
yeah.
cinnamon, not like the sweet
The
cinnamon.
horchata Mexican spice.
Yeah.
Cinnamon.
But
Thank
not
you
like
very much.
that one. Like this,
Oh.
it's like Red Hots.
Never
It's like a fireball.
But
Oh,
I
like a
do like
fireball.
horchata though.
Okay.
And it's an adult. It's like I add a little adult beverage to it as well.
Oh,
Make it
okay.
fancy. Make it nice.
Just pour it in the rivers of It's a Small World.
Christen it.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And then my second favorite holiday spectacular thing I love to see is the Sleeping Beauty Castle.
Of course.
Obviously.
Naturally.
It's so beautiful, and the tree not the tree lighting, but the castle lighting. I think it's like around like 5 o'clock. It's just so beautiful and magnificent. And then even in the daytime, it's just a really great photo opportunity. And then they always have these like really cool little photo ops that you can add to in front of the castle. So Tyler and I did one when he's like holding a mistletoe. Then we kissed. It was really
Precious.
cute. It was really adorable. That's like one of my favorite things. And then my last is the Grand Californian. I had to try to find
Oh.
something like on property, but not in a park, you know?
Sure.
And the Grand Californian Hotel and Spa is, when you walk in, it's just beautiful because it's like kind of dark and cozy already. But then they add this like beautiful tree, and it just really makes you enjoy the holidays, and you're like, wow. And then they usually have Santa like meet and greets,
Right.
but I didn't see a setup this year. I'm sure they will, because they have a Santa set up over at the Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah, he'll be there soon.
Oh.
Yeah, he comes a little bit later.
Yeah, and but it's so magnificent, and then you get this like beautiful smell of gingerbread, because they have this like huge gingerbread display of the hotel, and they switch it up a little bit every year, and they add something new, and I just think that's just so amazing, where you can just like, grab a drink over at the Hearthstone Lounge, and then they even have a fireplace, so you can sit by the fireplace on the rocking chair and enjoy it.
Sit by the hearth.
If you will.
There we go.
I will.
And then, and then just enjoy it. It's just, I love it. That's like one of my my third favorite holiday things. And then my honorable mention. I cannot forget it. Even Tyler was like, why didn't you say this? The Haunted Mansion holiday. Of course.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Saving the day.
I know. He's like, what's the matter with you? And I was like, well, it's like a Halloween thing and a Christmas thing. It's not just for Christmas. So I would say like that's like a cool thing for Halloween, because I love Christmas. So
Sure.
it comes early. So that's what I would say for Halloween. But it is awesome. They have that awesome gingerbread display. So obviously when you like pass by, you smell it and you're just like, oh, the holidays is so amazing. So
And I have to agree with the
my
Grand
list.
Californian Hotel and Spa.
almost spa. It's coming.
Yeah, right. On its way. If there was ever a hotel built for Christmas, it was that hotel.
It's this.
Yeah.
I mean, it really shines this
Yeah.
time of year, and there's no place more warm to
yeah.
experience Christmas at Disneyland than that spot.
It's
Not just
just-
because of the fire, but
It's just like it's just like the nice dark wood interior,
Yeah.
and it's just like cozy and warm, and then you just like want to grab a blanket and then just chill out there all day.
You feel like you're in a massive cabin.
Yeah,
You
pretty
know,
much.
that's exactly it.
And then
Yeah.
I'm waiting for like the snow to fall,
Yeah.
That's pretty much like, if you haven't gone, you need to go.
It's a must-do.
It is, honestly. And then if you want to do like a cool little not scavenger thing, but just go around to the Disney resorts and just check out the cool Christmas displays over at the Disneyland Hotel. They have a cool, like, I don't want to say 60s vibe kind of going on. And they have like a weird tinsel tree. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's very
strange.
retro.
Yeah, it's very strange. And then they have like the holidays over at the Paradise Pier Hotel. So
The coral tree.
the coral tree.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it this year yet.
You must.
I haven't walked out that way. It's too far.
When you get the energy
Yeah.
and can hoof it on out to the Paradise Pier Hotel,
If I don't eat a lot, maybe I will
then you can bask in its glory.
burn off
at
my
that point.
Thanksgiving meal
Very good. Well, run down those 3 for us one more time, plus the
Okay.
honorable mention.
and the honorable mention. So first off, Small World Holiday. Do the monorail for me, please. And if
Such
you
a great
do,
idea.
please tag me, because I want to see your faces. And then Sleeping Beauty Castle, the Grand Californian Hotel and Spa, and the honorable mention, Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Katrina's top 3 favorite Disneyland Resort holiday experiences, rounding out this Disney list. More Kingdom Report live for you next.
Hey, Kingdom Team, do you need more magic in your life? We understand, which is why we connect you to more of what makes you happy 3 times a week. Catch our theme park coverage, vlogs, and reviews every Tuesday and Thursday. And experience the Kingdom Report live, streaming every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. That's new content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, crafted with you in mind. Don't miss out. Be sure to subscribe and activate notifications at The Kingdom Report on YouTube, and catch every update throughout the week at Kingdom Report Live on social media. See you there!
Do it or ditch it time, where we determine if an attraction or experience is worth doing or getting rid of entirely. And today, it's all about Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress over at the Magic Kingdom Park in Walt Disney World, a classic attraction that came out of Walt's mind and the World's Fair that has been in Walt Disney World for an awfully long time. Many people consider this to be a classic attraction, and today we're determining whether or not it's worth doing or ditching. We took a poll and asked you, our Kingdom team, what is it that you think you should do? Is it worth your time at Magic Kingdom, or should it be replaced or upgraded entirely, updated, if you will. 85% of you said, yes, it's a classic. I do it every single time. And 15% said, yeah, no, update it or replace it. We do get a lot of comments from our Kingdom team out there on social media. We take a look here at just some of them where Teresa says, it's a must-do on every trip for my family and me. Amy says it's such a piece of history, knowing this is the only attraction Walt worked on for Walt Disney World. That's a great point. And then, of course, Brad there says, this is difficult to choose between because while it's a classic, it could use some heavy renovations, and especially the last scene. Now, I believe Adrian, who we even pulled up even further here in terms of comments, he kind of hit on that too. He says, I really enjoyed this attraction. Basically, what it comes down to, though, is he doesn't think Walt Disney himself, if he was alive, would have let the attraction just sit sort of stale all this time and not been updated through the generations and had more of a better ending. At this point, it does feel very sort of late 80s, early 90s in that final scene. And so he makes the great point that, maybe it's worth updating there at the end, that final scene overall. And that seems to be the majority of the comments that we're hearing from people is, yeah, update it. We love it. We'd just like to see a few more things added to it because it is such a classic attraction. Joining us now from Walt Disney World, our Walt Disney World reporter, Mr. Gared Hassel, in front of Carousel of Progress. Gared. Gared, your thoughts. Is this a do it or a ditch it for you?
Yeah.
Repeat it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it, man. This attraction, I'm doing it. I'm not ditching it at all. It was created for the 1964 to 65 World there in New York, and it is a classic here at Walt Disney World. I love it because of the nostalgia. Uncle Walt, as many of our King people have said, he worked on this. I love it. I think it's a cute show. It makes you laugh, and some of the scenes are just iconic, whether it's from Rover or from the son looking at dad's pictures, or even where the daughter is using the workout machine. Man, I get the kick out of it every single time. And how can you not love the song? How can you not want to ride this track?
It definitely gets stuck in your head. Yeah, it's one of those songs because it plays every time you move from room to room, scene to scene. It definitely gets stuck in your head, and you're like, man, I'm going to be singing this the rest of the day. How about you guys, Tyler, Katrina, doing it or ditching it when you go to Magic Kingdom?
Do you want to go?
I'm definitely doing it.
Yeah?
It's a must do. I mean, almost every trip we've gone on, we've done it. I think I'm always looking at her being like, we're going to do it. And she's like, oh no, which I think I'm giving away kind of her, but
Steal that thunder.
I know. Yeah. But, it's one of those things, like a lot like Gared was saying, it's just very nostalgic. It brings me back to just, I don't even know what, because I didn't, it's not like something I necessarily grew up with, but it still just makes me feel so nostalgic. I think it's because it has that very Walt Disney feel that a lot of productions that he had his hand in did back then, and you don't really find that anymore, where you can tell that it's supposed to be like, this is supposed to be a learning experience, and we kind of avoid learning experiences in theme parks a lot these days now. So I just love it. I think that it could use a little bit of updating, but actually, if you think about the last scene, it still works today. I mean, it gets us to where we are now. I mean, it's virtual reality and everything. This is something that's happening in everybody's house. The joke about the oven exploding and everything is actually something that could probably happen to somebody these days.
Alexa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, they make, Amazon basic ovens and microwaves and stuff like that. So this could, I don't know. It's like, that's where we are. They were actually very, very smart about the decisions that they made in what the future would be like. But do it, man.
Total do it for you.
I mean, the spinning theater. We didn't even talk about the theater yet. I mean, that's something that you're never going to experience anywhere else. For anybody who's never been on it before, the first time that thing moves, it's like a wow moment. You're like, whoa, the whole room is spinning. Yep. The only time it's a bummer is, speaking of the song getting stuck in your head, the last time we went on Carousel of Progress, somebody couldn't figure out that you cannot stand up during this show. You need to remain seated because they will not move the theater if you stand up. And so we literally watched the same scene 3 times in a row.
Oh no!
It's
Because
that and the door. So you can't exit. And so someone was trying to exit.
Somebody kept trying to exit instead of waiting for the show to just finish, which is what you kind of have to do. They warn you when you get in there. They're like, this is a 20-minute thing.
Yeah.
You cannot leave.
They really threaten you with it now, I've noticed.
Yeah, and because
don't be getting up.
Because these people get up, man. I was like, I cannot. I love this show, but I cannot see the same scene 3 times in a row.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna say it. I will say it's a good one-time thing, but I'm gonna say ditch it. Like,
whoa!
It's great to. I know.
Who is this? Oh.
Bye.
My God.
Like
I have to go back home with her.
Wow. Okay.
Merry
I will
Christmas.
say it's really cool to do like once in a while. I'm not going to do it it's like the Country Bear Jamboree kind of thing. It's just like, it's really great to go on the first time. It's like he said, it's really cool to see a spinning room, and then to see the end scene where you're kind of like, I know this was made a long time ago, but it's really relatable, and that's kind of crazy. And then the jokes are funny, but then I cannot go every single time. Like, it kills me. Like, I would go on the People Mover, like, unlimited amount, but I just can't. I can't do Carousel Progress over and over.
What
and
is
over
it
again.
that makes you go, no, this is totally skippable for me. It's okay.
Because it's long, and then every time we go on, we always get stuck. So I can't listen to that song.
That would be taxing on me too.
Because I love the song, and it's great, and it sticks in your mind for like the whole day after you see it, But it's just so long.
Yeah.
And you like, if you do it all the time, then the jokes kind of like are the same.
Yeah.
And so you kind of know. But if you haven't gone on for like maybe a couple trips or something, and then you go back on, you're like, that's pretty funny. That's pretty silly. But I can't do it every single time.
So not worth your Magic Kingdom time.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sad.
You don't like to hear Orville yell about no privacy? Or?
I'm waiting for him to
No
be Orville
privacy at
Redenbacher and
all.
get some popcorn.
Oh, wow.
There's
Okay.
a twist.
Oh, no, but I like her like working out and like talking about the boy and like, using.
Father, I'm indecent.
Yeah, really.
And
So many
that's,
great
like, pretty much
one-liners
it.
in
Yeah,
that
and
attraction. Yeah.
That's like really funny, but I can't do it like every single time I go.
She got paint all over her rumpus room.
Rumpus.
Sorry.
Room.
Sorry.
That's right. See, there's so many great one-liners. Absolutely. Well, Curt, you share with us, sir, do it or ditch it for you.
It's a do it for me as well. I
Yeah.
know. I'm sorry, Katrina there, but
Don't
I
apologize to
I
her.
know.
Never apologize.
I have to do it, especially since it's perfect too when you're hot. It's a hot day and you can just get out of the heat for 20 minutes and just enjoy this really comical, punny show.
Yeah.
That is, I gotta do it. If I'm in Disney World, I'm there. In fact, I wish he was back here at Disneyland.
I
That'd
do
be
too.
great.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have something like that.
You
Does
know?
Groot go with you?
Oh, of course, he goes with me everywhere.
He does.
Yeah, I don't leave the place. without him.
Whispers sweet nothings in your
Yeah,
ear.
yeah.
That's,
You think I just do this for this show? No, this is for every show he's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. He's a part of you now.
Exactly.
It's a bit of an appendage. That's good. Well, very nice. So another do it. Gared, let's jump back out to you. I mean, it's the holiday weeks right now, so I'd imagine that it's probably not 90 degrees. Have you seen many crowds going into Carousel of Progress?
Actually, I have here. If you look right there, you see a steady crowd going in. For each show I've seen, there's, I would say 30 to 50 people going in every single show.
Look at that.
Which is really, really nice. And it's only 80 degrees here today instead of the usual 95. But it's very, very nice. There's no humidity, but people are going on it right now. They're checking it out, which I love. There's even a line for the People Mover. So it's just,
There's always a line
it's a
for
busy
people
day
moving
here,
on.
but everyone is all about that product because there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. And this is how you end your day with Carousel of Progress.
Now, tell me this. Would you update the final scene? Would that be something you'd be into?
Absolutely, because this is a Carousel of Progress. I think they need to adapt and overcome. Like, you can still keep the same launch for the most part, but change the decor, change some other stuff. Walt knew what was going on because this attraction is over 50 years old and it's doing stuff, as Tyler said, what they're doing now. So I think update it a little bit, add some virtual reality. I don't know, make them in space or something. I don't know. The one thing that's weird is that it's during Christmas time, which I get. Like if they do that, even it's July. No, it's Christmas at the Carousel of Progress. So I don't.
I mean,
don't
there's
really
also
get
that
ending,
4th of
but-
July scene that they have.
Aren't they
you know,
all-
a little
yeah.
further back?
They're all
They're all
different.
during holidays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, no, like the 4th of July one, it makes sense. But like I don't know, Christmas is just iconic for like certain time of year. I don't know.
But it's like going throughout the year, and it has to end on Christmas.
You know, progressing a
Oh.
calendar.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. There's because the Halloween one is right before it.
He's so
I
brilliant.
need to go on it. I
We
need
just
to go
blew
on it
his
again.
mind, you guys.
You should go write it right now. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Kingdom Report live on Carousel of Progress.
There's nothing like it from that World's Fair. You bet. Well, very good. So would you guys be opposed to seeing that last scene updated?
I would say like update it maybe to do something even more futuristic for us, being like, oh my gosh, that can't happen. So then maybe 10 years down the road, we'll be like, oh, it did happen.
It did happen. Well, so-
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it being updated.
No.
I think there always needs to be some version of Carousel of Progress in Magic Kingdom. That's my bottom line. What they do with that, you know, as long as they don't make it like a big projection show or something, then I don't care. You know, I want it to be the same idea that they started with if they can come up with brand new technology for the animatronics or anything like that, then that's what I want. It sounds great to me. So
Yeah, no, I totally see an update for it, also generating new interest from people that may have moved on and said, you know, it's not for me. Always go once, but maybe not every time, and definitely get people to head on back over. So I would say, from my perspective, it's a definite do it from my perspective. So, you know, the do it's habit this time, Katrina. I apologize.
That's okay.
Always got to be that holdout.
Just
I
whoever
know.
rides it, please sit down. Don't leave.
Yeah, just sit,
I just can't.
please.
Standing ruins everything. Also, move to
Please
the end of the
don't.
row.
Yeah.
Please be a good guest.
Yeah.
Move to the end of
There's
the
like
row.
literally no one in there, and it's just that one person that just stands up and gets outside and keeps me in there for like 3 cycles. I'm like, you gotta be kidding
I can
me.
see why, you know, it turns you off so much. Like, I get it. Like, that would drive me crazy, too.
I know, and that's just me. Again, like every time it happens with us. Every single time.
It's
Yeah.
a must-do.
It's kind of fun in a way because the cast member keeps getting on the microphone and they're like progressively getting more angry. You need to remain seated.
Just like the train. Gosh, that was
Oh,
bad
oh
too.
boy, that was a whole nother story.
Oh, I know.
Same thing happened on the
Another
train.
time, yeah.
All right. Well, Gared, one last time, your final thought on Carousel of Progress. I mean, sounds like the do it's habit, but when it comes to Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress, your final words.
Well, as you can see, all these lovely people are in the same mindset as me, and they are doing it. Oh yeah, you guys go on Carousel? Yeah. Go on Carousel.
Look at his
I'm gonna
hair.
hang out. I'm gonna hang out with them. They're more fun than Katrina.
Oh!
Come to Disney
No,
World, sir. I'm gonna
All right,
get up
well,
and
no,
keep pushing the door open.
You know
I'm gonna
what?
be stuck on there.
Go right ahead. I will sing into your ear and serenade you, and Tyler will join in too.
I will. We'll do a duet together.
I've never heard of so
Oh.
many
Absolutely.
terrible threats.
Let's do
all-
this.
all in
Okay.
one show, my God. Well, Gared, thank you for joining us, and it looks like the do it's habit when it comes to Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. And now we transition to the close of our show. So sad to say goodbye, but before we do, guys, what's going on at attractionfaction.net this week? What should we know about?
We're gonna go to Universal Studios and we're gonna see Grinchmas and hang out with the Grinch and see the tree lighting. Go to Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Ooh,
And apparently they got rid of their snow this year, which is kind of sad. But they
Oh.
still have the nighttime lights at.
Hogwarts Castle.
But they call it some anyway. There's
think it's like
confusing
Christmas
name.
time at
Anyway, it's a
Hogwarts.
Christmas version of the nighttime show that they do over there, which is a lot of fun. And
How do you get rid of snow?
I know, right?
shame.
It makes so much sense
I
too
think
because it's
like with the
Hogsmeade.
flow
Yeah.
of people. They
Yeah,
try to like.
yeah.
We went for Thanksgiving and really quick. We went for Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to like push people out after the projection show. And they don't want people coming back into Hogsmeade. They want people to like exit, and then if they want to come back, they can go around and come back in.
Oh.
And so when it was snowing, I think people were like lingering and like
was kinda
like me,
making
and I'm like,
people-
wow, oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But they want people out.
Got it.
Yeah, it was making people be aimless and like crossing paths a lot.
Yeah.
And they did not think that they were going to have a nighttime show there when they built that area. Like that was not part of their plan.
Right.
And now that there is a nighttime show there, it has given them a lot of operational headaches. But,
Sure.
you know, they're doing their best.
Yeah, when you shoehorn stuff like that in, you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
figure it
Yeah.
out.
But
so.
honestly, I'm glad it's there. It's. I just wish that they would do something more like you know, like Small World does, where it's like, oh, every 15 minutes or so they're gonna do like a little show, rather than like, okay, here are the show times, get here for this. Like, it would just be nice if it was like more random. But anyway, we're going into different things. So.
Well, it'll be cool to check out attractionfaction.net. You can also see my experience with Thanksgiving at the Disneyland Resort. That is where I enjoyed my Thanksgiving meal this year. At the Paradise Pier Hotel, Disney's PCH Grill, to be exact. And you can check that out on Tuesday, the Kingdom Report on YouTube. Definitely
check
worth
that out.
seeing. Yeah, it's a unique experience, especially to do Disney for a big holiday like Thanksgiving. On top of it, it was pouring for the first time in years here on Thanksgiving in Southern California. Not only was it not 80 degrees like it typically is,
Yeah.
it was freezing, it was raining, and so that led a lot of our...
It got you in the holiday spirit, though, because you're all
I
bundled
loved it.
up and cold.
Yeah,
and
I loved it
"Woo!"
too.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend checking that out as well. But looking forward to Grinchmas and Universal and all the unique things we have at attractionfaction.net.
Thank you.
Well, my friends, that brings us to the end. But I want to say Merry Christmas to you. It has been a real pleasure. And remember, we will be right back here next week for another Kingdom Report Live, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And don't you forget, the legacy of Walt Disney, it lives on because of people like you and me. See you next week.